Hi, this is Anthony Meisner with Land Title. I came to bring you your first to know update for Boulder County, so let's dive right into what happened in November. Here we are looking at the average sales price at 1.126 million, down about 2.5% from this time last year. But look at those high marks. November has been a time where we see a lot of luxury sales taking place, more so than a lot of the market. So it's been an interesting one because that's well above where the rest of the year has been. Now it looks like we've kind of slipped a little bit in the latter part of the year, but this is fairly stable. I mean, look at the median. The median's up 0.7%. We're really right in line with where we were a year ago at 830,000 on the median sales price. If you look at the condo townhouse market, also similar situation. We're up 3.8% on the average, down a little bit from the peak of last month, a little bit there, but still $600,000 average sales price in Boulder County. 500,000 on the median. That's still 4.2% up above this time last year. And we're seeing this sort of stability and robustness in the marketplace, even after seeing sort of a mid-year drop-off in sales price. So it's good to see. Now, if we look at it by price per square foot, this kind of reaffirms our sort of hypothesis in the single-family home market, where you really see it very similar to a year ago, 0.5% change, $393 a square foot. It's still right in line with what we've been seeing all year. The condo townhouse market, it does tell the other side of that story just a little bit. We're down 5.6% from this time last month. But like I said, lots of luxury sales kind of kept that price elevated. It is down 6.7% from the previous month, which was obviously the high water mark for the year there. But here we are kind of looking back, and it doesn't look terrible, right? It just kind of looks fairly similar. Now, why is all that happening? It's largely happening due to so much inventory on the marketplace. But as we got into November, you saw a lot of people withdraw listings. We definitely had some go under contract, but look at that. We're down to 1,200 total units. It's only not even 100 units above this time last year, 8% above last year. So we're really feeling that seasonal shift as people expire listings off of the marketplace. And new listings, just like last year in November, didn't really taper off that much. We still had 248 units, well above that seasonal shift you usually feel as people stop putting stuff on the market. So very similar to last year again. Now, demand, actually a few more than we had out of the active new units on the market. So 261 pending under contracts. That's a little bit less than we had this time last year across Boulder County, but it's interesting because it's still about 13 units more than the new active units coming on the market. So between expired listings and sellers really absorbing all that inventory, we rounded right where we were a year ago, 3.3 months supply of inventory. We're at 3.2 then. It's just interesting to see the seasonal transition taking place so much earlier in 2025 than it did, through most of the rest of the markets. June is the high point of the month supply of inventory and the units on the market, and a lot of sellers being frustrated. I'd expect us to start at a much higher rate of inventory next year than we did this year because of that. But it is a great sign to see that the under contracts have trended above the previous year. So that's always good to look at. Now, if we look at what that really means to be a buyer seller in the marketplace, you can see average days in MLS have really skyrocketed true to their seasonal norm at 67 days, which is 31 days longer than usual. But it really follows that seasonal trend where in the latter portion of the year, we really see things take a little bit longer to sell. And following, just like everyone would expect, 97.7 on our list sale price, because basically it's still very advantageous to be a buyer in this marketplace. Now, if we look at it by total showings to pending and total showings per listing, it really tells a similar story to the previous month. It does show that buyers are still very motivated. They're still putting stuff under contract. 20% less showings to go under contract than it was this time last year, which is a great sign. It really shows that, the buyers out there shopping are still really ready to buy, right? And then the 4.4 showings shows us that, there may not be a lot of buyers out there shopping, but the ones that are shopping are fairly serious. But if you're getting 4.5 showings a month, just like if it was a year ago or even basically since June, we really are still in that same vein of we're probably doing everything you can to market the home, or maybe you're even priced appropriately, right? As long as you're getting your showing traffic. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have any other questions, concerns, you need other information or data, reach out to me. I'm Anthony at Land Title. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Catch you next time.